Today, we're talking to a former arms trafficker. Meet David Packouz, the man who inspired the movie War Dogs.
You expect us to drive them to Iraq?
Why not? Marlboro is the best smuggler in all of Jordan.
You seriously want to drive to Baghdad?
David, we're gun runners. Let's go run some guns. Let's go.
David and his business partner, Ephraim Diveroli, went from being described by Rolling Stone as the stoner arms dealers to convicted felons who defrauded the U.S. government. When David joined the arms company, AEY, he was living the dream, scoring million-dollar contracts to transport weapons all over the world. But then things went south when AEY secured its largest deal yet, a $300 million contract with the government. The mission was to supply the Afghan army with 100 million rounds of AK-47 ammo, millions of sniper rounds and aviation rockets. But the contract stipulated that no Chinese ammo could be used. And, well, David and his partner didn't listen. Instead, repackaged Chinese ammo to hide the origins, which violated the contract. David pled guilty to one count of conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and served 7 months house arrest, while his partner 4 years in federal prison. But David's gotten it together, creating War Dogs Academy, which teaches people how to legally secure government contracts. And he joins us now. So, David, you were a masseuse, and then all of a sudden you got multi-million-dollar arms contracts from the Bush administration? How?
Well, we learned very well how to use the federal contracting system and bid on federal contracts and win those contracts.
You just went online and started bidding? It's that easy?
I wouldn't say it's easy. It's definitely complicated, but anyone can learn how to do this, and that is what I teach now with War Dogs Academy.
All right, so you first find out you got this contract, $300 million. You'd never done anything like this before. You've never had a contract by the government. Right. You knew nothing about arms. You were kind of a hippie. Then what happened?
Well, we had won quite a few contracts before winning the big $300 million contract, but definitely the $300 million contract was by far our biggest contract. But once we won that contract, we started delivering on it. And the contract was actually for 30 different types of munitions, everything from pistol ammo to tank rounds to anti-aircraft rockets. But the stuff that got us in trouble was the ammunition for the AK-47, 7.62 by 39, that turned out to be originally from China, which violated the terms of our contract, even though we bought it from Albania, but we found out later that it had originally come from China.
Now, when you bought the ammo from Albanian weapons dealers, did you kind of know that it originated in China?
Well, we found out that it originated in China when we went over to Albania to inspect it and discovered that there were many Chinese markings on the boxes, and that kind of gave it away.
Okay. So then you realize this is illegal. What did you do to hide that? Did you just scratch off all the Chinese markings?
So we originally considered doing that to sand off the Chinese markings off the crates, but we wanted to get rid of the crates anyway to reduce the shipment weight to save money on shipping. And the ammunition was stored in these metal tins inside the crates, and the metal tins also had Chinese markings, and inside the metal tins there were documents with Chinese markings on it too. So we had to do a complete repackage. So we took out all the ammunition and repackaged it into sealed plastic bags to prevent corrosion, and then into thick cardboard boxes so that we could transport it in a lightweight configuration to Afghanistan.
Got it. It's like when you take the good liquor out of your parents' bottles, you replace it with the garbage, and then they'll never know. How did you guys get caught?
Well, I would say that we didn't replace it with the garbage. The ammunition was very high quality, and the U.S. Army was very happy with the quality of the ammunition. What we did was we took off the label and changed the label so it would look like it was from somewhere else. That's what we did.
So how'd they smoke you guys out?
You're right. So the way we got caught was my former business partner, Ephraim Diveroli, who is played in the movie War Dogs by Jonah Hill, we had changed people to do the repackaging job, and he didn't want to pay the old repackaging guy about $20,000 of that he owed him, and that guy got really pissed off at that and told the FBI and the New York Times about it. So that's how we
just
got caught.
all over 20 grand.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if you could have gone back and done that one over again. So being an international arms trafficker, you must have a great insight into the world of espionage, geopolitics. What'd you learn?
Well, I learned that there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that everyone pretends isn't happening, but that everyone is fine with unless it gets into the media. So, for example, the U.S. Army, it came out later in court that they actually knew that the ammunition was originally from China the entire time, but they didn't really care because they were getting a very good deal on the ammunition and it was high quality, so they looked the other way. But when the New York Times published a front-page article about it, then they couldn't look the other way anymore, and then they pretended like they were shocked and appalled and charged us with fraud.
Everyone's pretending to be shocked all the time. Even me, sometimes I pretend.
Right.
So now you've gotten it together. you
believe
did your 7 months. How did you get it together, and how did you turn things around? And any advice for anybody else?
Yeah, so the first thing I did while I was under house arrest, I had an idea for my first invention, which was a product called the Beat Buddy, which is a hands-free drum machine. I'm a musician, so I created that and launched my company, Singular Sound. I also invented a product called InstaFloss, which flosses all your teeth for you in 10 seconds. You can check it out on instafloss.com.
Whoa.
And yeah, it's very cool. That's how I have this beautiful smile.
Oh, I might need one of those.
My most recent... I highly encourage you to check out instafloss.com and get one. And my most recent venture is War Dogs Academy, which people can find out about at wardogsacademy.com, where we teach people how to do government contracting the legal way. So we take people who know nothing about government contracting, nothing about business in general, and we have a step-by-step course to how to form your company, how to register it with the federal government, how to look at the government's website to see which solicitations you're likely to win, how to give yourself various advantages, what they call set-asides with federal contracting.
That sounds great.
And how to deliver on it.
That sounds great. I'm going to have Johnny bid on a few contracts. And in the meantime, send over some InstaFloss to Fox. All right? Maybe a whole crate. Just make sure it doesn't have Chinese markings on it. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it,
well,
David.
It's actually manufactured in Mexico, so no worries.
Okay, even better. Thank you.